Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. I've realized you gotta vamp in this moment, because even though I didn't see that it was on the internet yet, on YouTube,
It was 10 seconds of black.
it was. And I've learned that lesson on so many of these. Hello, peeps. Peeps. Hello. Hello, Bri. Hello.
Bri? Brie?
Bri? Correct us in the comments.
What great content.
Hello, Captain. Hello, Scott. Hello, Kyle. Oh, that's Kyle Roy. We know Kyle Roy.
I don't. Do
I know.
Shit.
Well, I don't know if you do. Kyle Roy's a frequent haunter. It's pronounced Bree. You were right. Hello.
That's why I'm here, to pronounce Brie's name right.
Hello, gang. I have to figure out how do I share this with people like that with that share button.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where should I share it to?
Twitter's dead.
Twitter's
Instagram's on your phone.
Yeah, Instagram's on here, and I actually don't even have
And no one uses Facebook, so...
I don't have Instagram downloaded even currently. I'm
You
very
should-
particular about that.
You should post a YouTube video with a link to this.
Oh, sure.
Or do another live stream and say, hey, streaming over on that other link on my page.
These are the behind the scenes moments that everyone has been waiting for. Yeah. Well, hello. There's a few of us here. I guess we just wanted to get on, and first of all, we start shooting the movie tomorrow morning. Whoa.
Maybe these people don't even know that we're shooting a movie. Maybe they missed your last video and they need more context.
Now, who could miss a video on YouTube.com? Who would ever?
They make the homepage really nice nowadays.
In what you tell me a world where subscribers to a channel don't see videos
Every
from
single
that
video.
channel. You tell me that. You show me that world, and I'll show you a dream world. I mean, I guess not a dream, like a nightmare world. And we're making a movie. We're making Spellbook. If you didn't see, we posted the Indiegogo a couple weeks ago. This has all happened very quickly.
Maybe.
If you feel like you're looking at this and you're thinking that happened quickly, you're right. It did. It feels...
It's been rough.
Imagine how we feel. Yeah. But it's been awesome. We're kind of living the dream. We're kind of doing this exact back to sort of scrappy, but giving things the attention that they always are supposed to get and trying to not compromise as much. And it's been honestly a blast.
Michael, doing a lot of testing.
A lot of testing, which is one of the main things I want to show y'all on this stream. We have a bunch of, more than I've ever done. We've been doing choreography tests and just like special effects tests. I guess you would call them special effects. They're basically, we have like so many visual gags and weird props, mainly these powder bursts and stuff. And so we'll pull that video up soon. But yeah, the film things are in fact happening quickly. That's correct. Yeah, well, Michael, what I was gonna say was maybe I don't know how many people know you, but you've been involved for many projects now. In varying
My name's
degrees.
been in the credits.
Your name's been in the credits.
My bodily shape has been in the background of many of them.
Yeah,
I was a dead body in Save This Thing.
that's true.
Was
We also produced that one.
Well, yeah.
but-
Well, I mean, whenever we don't have a dead body and there's a living body on set that can do something, it's usually me.
You're also in the background there's a bar scene in Save This Thing.
Oh, I forgot
You-
about I'm
where
the
you walk-
bartender.
You are the
Yeah.
one. You are the single other human person that is in this bar.
Who isn't holding a light.
Who isn't holding a light? That was
I
wild.
forgot about that.
That was fun. And that was a good one. I've talked about Save This Thing as it was very much my return to just needing to make something and being like I haven't made a short since See Through, and there have been a lot of false starts on projects and I shot like a few mini things with Shannon, like even during COVID we shot something and they just never. I was sick of doing stuff that always gets a little compromised, and so a big part of this now, making this Spellbook short, is just trying to, it's still a movie, and we don't have infinite, resources, but for this one more than most of the other ones, we're not cutting corners.
And there's a lot of corners I want.
And there's a lot of corners that are just like, what do you think? And yeah.
There's probably like 3 gags in this that I've said over and over. What if we just got rid of that?
Yeah, same. And it's been a lot of me trying to be like, is this one of those like it was such a strange thing to start a project and to be like the main like spiritual goal of this, beyond I love the story and I love the thing is fun to me and the idea tickles my brain in a fun way, but like in like a personal goals way, it was like starting a thing being like, I don't want to do a thing that happens all the time, which is we're there and you start to do the good enough thing and you start, and it's never on purpose and it's not for lack of planning, but this time it's been like hyper planning. It's been being as smart as possible with our time, and so because of that, it's been weird then in these moments where like maybe in another thing I would have just been like, you know what, let's cut that because it's relieving to think about not needing to do that thing. I've had to keep double checking myself and be like, but is that me doing the thing that I was saying I don't want to do?
Like I said, there's been a lot of times where we said we could cut a corner here, and then 10 minutes into that conversation, it was like, well, this is supposed to be the one where we're not
and then we go
sacrificing things for the sake of shooting fast.
But then it's also been, then you get into the conversation of like, somehow you loop back around to like, I've never really had a huge problem with the kill your darlings thing, but then it becomes, oh, I'm now having that original thing of where you're like, I don't want to get too attached to this because it's like, is this holding it up that I'm being stubborn about? Oh, the gag has to go this way, or we need these exact resources or this exact location or whatever, and then needing to be like, okay, wait, is this, if we changed this, would it be just being clever or would it be a compromise?
Is it a compromise?
And it's been a very interesting short so far. Again, we start shooting tomorrow. We haven't even shot a friggin' frame.
There's been like 7 different versions of the script in the
and
past 3 weeks.
Yeah, and all of them, it's so tweaky. Some of the things have made huge differences. Like even
The last like 3 pages have changed
a lot
significantly since
And
the first version.
Order in which certain conversations have, because again, it is very built around. It's mostly a action sequence. It's a heist sequence that turns into a action sequence, and it's all complicated choreography and stuff.
And every line of dialogue in something as concise and action-filled is important.
Yeah.
Because like there's no wasted lines. Everything is trying to relay some little bit of information about what the larger world is or what the ideas are. So anytime you're like, well, do we cut those 2 lines? You say, sure, but she's got to say this somewhere else. Like,
or
it
we
needs
literally
to be said.
lose. Like it's because it's so.
Now she's evil because we cut out the line that made her good.
Yeah, she doesn't say that.
Now she's just robbing a guy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Which all of these versions of the script are going to be sent out to one of the Indiegogo tiers. So if you are interested in any of that, I have been collecting every version of the script that Dom has sent me. There is that version of the script, and then a version that I have fully redlined and written entirely different notes all over.
Bad.
And we're going to send all that out in one of the tiers as well.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, again, a big part of this is we're about to start shooting, but the Indiegogo campaign is going for the next
2 weeks,
2 weeks or so. And so if you were waiting to jump in on that, go for it. Now's your time. The link is in the description in here because there are cool stuff. I mean, and I try when we're building these out, the few times that we've done it, I try to really think about like when I'm excited about something that's coming out, like what would I actually care to get, and not just be like, oh yeah, here's this perk that who cares? Here's a sticker or whatever. Which listen, I like a sticker.
The logo's kind of cool. Would be a pretty cool sticker too, but
damn,
work on that.
We gotta make some calls. But I was really trying to think like, okay, when it's a movie thing, I want to see the scripts. I want to see what it looked like.
I've always been someone who liked getting a script, but at the same time, I thought the idea of getting 6 different versions of the script so you can see the evolution of it, and to me, I was like, well, that's just me putting them in a folder and then zip filing it up and sending it out after the movie's done.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of extra effort on our part.
Yeah.
But then I think it supplies a lot of value.
And a lot of behind the scenes pictures and videos. And honestly, on that point, why don't we show you our test stuff?
Great. Cue it up, Dom.
Let's do it. You're still gonna be able to hear us, so like if we're like like being alive.
This is what we have shot We did 2 camera test days. So none of this, there's some VFX tests in here, but a lot of it was choreography. There's a ton of practical gags throughout the whole thing. And my biggest fear was showing up on set and saying like, oh, we didn't really think about how to do this physically. So I made Dom shoot all of it once, basically.
And it was fun. So yeah, you're going to see none of this is in the camera. So it's like, it's not even it's not like a camera test where it's like, here's exactly what our movie is going to look like.
It's more of a blocking test.
It was more of a blocking test. It was more of a just effects test. So here you go. Let's check it out. Here's some things we were doing. Also, hopefully you can hear the music. I don't know if we think so.
I heard it earlier.
Yeah, you look swollen. There's Blink. Prototype Blink.
Look, I'm in this movie too, because I get to puppet a flashlight.
Blink. That is Michael. There's our no knife moment. Mr. Chris Smith, Miss Shannon Barry. Look at all this.
Oh, it's really stressing me out watching.
Yeah.
Because now we have to do all of this for real this weekend.
Yeah. All right.
Beautiful.
So now we gotta just make the movie again. We did it once. No, it has been. I mean, it's a very encouraging way to go into it because it has. You know, we have all of that. Like we're gonna be on the set and be like, we all did it, and it's the same people. We all saw it. You know, Shan was told exactly what these choreographed moments are once, and so now hopefully, even though we're scaled up and there's gonna be more people and more moving parts, and it's always a little more complicated when we're, you know, we didn't light anything and we're in this living room, and obviously
I don't know if you noticed there, but there's a flying purse that Dom is fully standing behind for a couple of those shots.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, going into this, the idea was we would just show you this sizzle and then I don't know, do a little check-in, and if you had any like questions about really anything. I mean, if you ask about
this short, about
this
shooting
short,
other shorts,
about other shorts, about my music. I just put out a song called Bottom Line. I don't know if you saw that one.
I told Dom he couldn't advertise it.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to do all this Indiegogo stuff, and I was like,
the day Dom finally was going to post the Indiegogo on his Instagram, he was like, "Oh, in a couple hours, I'm also posting about my song," and I was like, "No, you post about the song tomorrow."
Yeah, but yeah, what will you use? Let's do this. What are we going to use to edit and color grade the film? The color grade part of that is an excellent question that has occurred to me about 24 hours ago. As far as we have a lot of our post stuff laid out. And that were to be seen. Where Austin colors, he's colored the last couple shorts that he shot for me. So probably that. And I think I'm just going to be editing it in Premiere. I'm an Adobe slug.
I will say, Victor also did ask, is this intention to be submitted to Buffer?
It is going to be in Buffer.
It's going to be in Buffer, which also, if anyone knows when Buffer is very soon after the current time.
Buffer starts in 1 exact month from 2 days ago.
Jesus Christ. So that means we have less time than that to film, edit, and entirely polish this.
It's very scary. It's very scary. But it is also how we did See-Through. See-Through was shot. We were done shooting See-Through in on August 5th or something, and it was sent to Buffer August 31st or something like that. So that's just, you know, it's kind of fun. I like the fire to make these things happen, because the other part of it is there's certainly there's a middle ground here that would be the perfect version where you have a little bit of pressure, but you also have enough breathing room that you're like, okay, I feel like we didn't have to sweat every fluid out of our bodies to get this done. But also then you can go too far the other direction where if there's nothing that is forcing it to come out. I feel this way about my music stuff too, where if it's all up to me and it's just on my own timeline and no one knows about it and it's not gonna, there's no,
you need to give yourself the deadline.
And giving myself a deadline is the worst. I'm
You've also
so
been
bad
burned
at that.
by your own deadlines.
I am so bad at that because I'm really nice to myself. I'm like, you know, God, who cares, man? Just make it what you want it to be.
Part of the other reason we did all the camera tests was because of the tight post deadline, and there's a lot of VFX in this, or a handful. We were trying to be as much practical as possible.
Even the edit itself, for even the stuff that is practical, it's all very. It is precise. All the moments and the rhythm of the stuff is very precise, and it's going to take a little more figuring out. And I can't, honestly, this could go either way. It's either I'm going to go through it, and it's going to end up being just snappier than stuff that is all dialogue, and it's me just looking through long dialogue scene after long dialogue scene and figuring out the best takes and crafting all those moments. And this, it's probably going to be like, you know, with the correct script supervising notes, just being like, oh yeah, we nailed that action moment. It was this one. That one looks the best.
Doing all the VFX stuff first was that we have a great VFX supervisor named Melanie, and she had been for all the camera tests, watched us do it. We talked through everything with her. She's edited everything in some rudimentary way already, so we can go into the weekend knowing exactly how to film it to make it as smooth and fast as possible.
Yep.
One question somebody asked was where they could watch it when it's released.
Well, if you want to see it sooner rather than later and you haven't jumped in on the Indiegogo yet, there is, again, I was in all the perks that I would want if I was supporting a short film. I want to see it the second it's done and when it's ready to be shown, and I don't want to have to wait for anything. And that's I think that's the first one, right? It's just getting
the first or the second, but
the first or the second price, like $10.
You get it the day buffer happens.
You will see it the second everybody is seeing it. The second we are done with it and it is being shown, you will see it then. And then also it'll end up on YouTube. I'm not I don't know exactly.
And there's another tier where you can watch us shoot the whole thing this weekend.
Yes.
So if you just edit together that footage,
you
can probably make the movie in advance.
That's another big push of why we wanted to do this Q&A thing today, is because we start shooting tomorrow, but it's more
tomorrow's a smaller
exterior stuff. It's gonna be a little harder to have like a laptop with us, but
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday
we'll
be streaming
in this house, and it's going to be all those sequences you saw on that little sizzle reel of like a lot of fight stuff, a lot of creeping around the house, and it'll be a fun time. So if you're interested in like just literally watching us make the movie and being there for the 12 hours that we're going to be there.
And if you're watching this after that has already happened and the Indiegogo is still live and you would like to still see that footage, if you contribute to that tier on Indiegogo, all of those videos are going to stay unlisted on Dom's channel, and you will get links to all of those. So they will also be up if you can't watch it when it's happening, or if you want to get it later. This one was a little strange because we're filming in the middle of the campaign. So that tier is going to be handed out this weekend, but also will be archived for later viewing.
So if that's, if you like that sort of thing, I like that sort of thing. I'm always very curious about how other people run their sets and just getting to watch and get to do that fly on the wall thing. So if that sounds cool, jump in.
What other questions we got?
I saw oh hey Sarah. I know Sarah Shrek. Is that, and that's you say it like that? I'm pretty sure.
Shrek.
Yeah. Music. Am I gonna do music? I messed around with some music for this about 2 months ago.
When there was 3 months until the movie was gonna.
Yeah, I don't know if I have time to score, but we'll see. Like, I'm leaving it open ended in the sense that like I've never really done this before because I like to just be done with things when they're done. But there's a version of maybe I have music that I've been collecting. That's stuff that we have. I see Seth in the comments. There's a version of putting it out with this music that I've sort of curated that is, I feel like fits the tone, and then that's what we screen. That's what you would get as a screening link. But then if I wanted to, I could spend some more time at the end of this until, over the holidays and just sort of score it at my leisure. I've never really gotten to, every time I'm doing the music for something, that's another thing that just gets compromised.
I will say that
like crazy.
If that's the route we take, there's a chance that the video will not be public until after that happens. And the only way to view it would be at Buffer or with that
Yes.
tier on the Indiegogo to see it right away.
Yes, that is the thing. Truly, there is no release date publicly. I don't know. I don't know how long we're gonna hold on to it. I don't know if it's gonna be a
There's
thing
also
where,
a chance you're going to be sick of it as soon as we're done and we say we
And I
like
say I'm
the
done.
music that was on it, and also
Out.
I'm not.
And I also, it might be a thing where we're trying to send it to other festivals, and if that's the case, I don't know if we'll want to put it directly online, but we'll see. It's again, that's why I'm not trying to be dodgy. That's just truly the truth. Seth says, "Hey Dom, I'm really excited for the movie, and I think the concept is amazing. I was just wondering, how much do you love me?" I love you a lot, Seth. And Seth actually made a generous contribution to this movie, so you will see his name as a producer on this, and also you'll also see him in the glitter in my eye and in the cockles of my heart.
Ugh. I never want to hear anything about the cockles of your heart ever again.
All right, well then don't open your email because I sent you
Jesus.
I'm saying I wrote you some nice stuff. And
Kyle Roy has a great question.
What is Kyle saying?
What are you looking to get out of making this movie?
I'm looking to get out of making this movie.
Please, if anyone knows a way to
If you guys know any
undo
good,
all the sunk costs.
it's written. If you know any good directors, because I'm kind of tired this weekend. It's basically what I've been saying about the compromise thing. I think there's been, if the most succinct way of saying what this was to me in concept was like, I have always said that these complicated sequences are part of the movies that I want to make forever. There's always some sort of action through line in all of my features and pilots and stuff. There's always, and these are just things that I've never made because they're complicated and they're written in a way that it would just cost too much money. But I'm always like, yeah, that's a big part of my fantasizing brain. That's always these crazy predicaments and these chases, and I've like dipped my toe in it in the shorts here and there, but I've never like said, yeah, no, I'm gonna really do it. Like that's gonna be what we're doing, and it's not gonna be that there's an action sequence in the middle of all this complicated, dialogue scenes where it's mostly a bunch of locations and that kind of thing. It's like, no, I wanted to set out, go to one location, spend a lot of attention on
the action
stuff and on these, and it's like it's not shootouts, it's not kung fu kind of fighting, but like it's just they're predicaments, I guess, is always what it's always what it comes down to. It's always like, and there's a few times where it's just trading some blows, like she's got a purse that returns to her hand, so she uses it like kind of Captain America's shield, little boomerang style, and there's that where it's just sort of her like wailing on him. But even that, figuring out the fun way to shoot that where you get a really like stretchy feeling when she throws it and it pulls back and then it swoops back to her hand, and like we're always in such a rush in those moments that it ends up being like, let's just throw a couple punches and move along. And there's a charm to that sometimes, but this one was me wanting to just be like, no, this is important to me. It's part of my storytelling brain, and I'm going to just finally do it.
And I will also say, to add to that Dom, every single time we've edited or changed a part of this script, has been talking about the larger world of what this script is, and there is a lot more to tell about this world. So hopefully everybody likes it, and it eventually can become something more, because every bit of hinting and bit of information in this short might not even be resolved within the short, but it all is put there intentionally and means something for the larger scope of what this story is.
It's also a very classic, like, amalgamation of, by accident, a lot of ideas that I've tried to do. I think I kind of said that in the Indiegogo like pitch video, but it's just true. Like the way that this finally blossomed out of the ground was like, oh, it's sort of that idea that I've tried to make 100 times, and then but it's like the kind of the lore of the way there are these families that are passing things down that are just a physical thing. It's not that you're not born. It's not in your blood. You're not sent a letter. Anyone can do it if you're just taught how to do it. And that that's been this recurring thing that is always.
That's because you don't have powers. You're there has to be a way I can get powers.
Yeah, I'm sort of like, well, I'm way older than 11.
I'm not getting a letter.
I'm like, not hanging out in any laboratories.
So go to a field with lightning and holding some chemicals. Maybe that'll cause something.
Yeah. So, that's just so it's been a fun calcification of like, and in a way, and it's sometimes that can be a Frankenstein where you're just sort of like you're trying to throw every old idea ever into a thing, but it's like it really hasn't been that. And there's even in this short, there are like reveals in this short that at one point were the main twist of like this other idea of mine, and like just being able to like work that into this has been really fun. And again, this is a thing it's short. I mean, it's a short film. As I said, it's a heist and then a fight, and it will be much shorter than I mean, we're shooting for 4 days, and we've shot things that are 25 minutes in 4 days, and this will probably be more like 5 minutes. So
5 to 7-ish.
5 to 7-ish, but I really think it's gonna be cool. I really do. Other questions? I'll answer a couple more.
I like this one that says, who involved in the cast and crew would be the most likely to win in a physical fist fight?
Yeah, that's Sammy. Probably Chris Smith.
Absolutely, Chris. He's 6'2".
First of all, he's bigger than us all. He's stronger than us all. And he's like
physically
fit, and I think he would be very hard to catch.
He absolutely would be hard to catch.
He's a wily man.
You know, you don't always think about catching someone when it comes to a fight, but
imagine that's part of it. You got to get him.
Yeah, they run away, you get tired, they turn around and they knock you out, and that's the fight.
But speaking of Chris, he's been great in this too. Of just being, he is such a. It's funny. He came to mind for this in. Just I was like, oh, he just fits like in the tone of it, the way that the character is funny. I knew he would be funny in it and do it. And then like as it started to become even more physical and more physical and more physical, and there's a bunch of these gags in this that I was like, oh, I didn't even really realize that it was going to require so much physicality and so much miming and stuff from the person playing his character, and it just fits with him and his talents. He's a juggler. He's a blue man. He's a very physical performer, and so yeah, it'll be fun. And then, with Shannon, it was a similar thing of being like, her and I have talked so often about like see through and save this thing. It was a lot of like, I want to do a thing that's like in like, it's almost like you're doing it to your type. Like there's a way that you're funny, and let's do that in the movie. And then it kind of like it started from a completely opposite spot of like, of course, and she's her and she's charming and it'll be her and she'll be sweet in it, and that'll come through. But it started as like, I want to see you just be like, you're gonna be very different. I want to see you do a thing where it's like, yeah, you're this scrappy punky witch girl who's on this like dirty little road trip.
That's a great way to say that.
And that was exciting to me, and it was exciting to her, and her and I have been having great conversations about it. She's been doing a great job just in the messing around with it, finding like in a weird way. Never really. I'm not trying to like blow. I don't want to speak for her and all this performance stuff, but finding like a kind of different voice has been a funny thing too. Of like, it just kind of like we were talking. She's like she does it to make me laugh more than anything. She's so good at mimicking people's tones of voices, and it's not even like she's not an impressions person. I wouldn't even necessarily. It's not like she's like, oh, she can do any accent, but when she hears someone do something, she can like parrot it back to me, and it always makes me laugh. It kills me when she does it. We're watching, reality shows and stuff. It'll kill me. So I was like, oh, and then it was literally, she did one voice that was like sort of a little lower, and I was like, oh, what if we
make a whole
did,
character
yeah,
out of that?
like actually, and let's see what happens when you do that. Because even for me, to speak for myself and not her as the performer, but like for me directing, it's been a lot of, it's always our friends, and it's playing everybody's strengths. I have sorry, there's no curses in this movie.
Not on YouTube.
I was trying to keep it like in the tone of like the movie isn't a cursey movie. I was trying to like keep it, all the materials rated the same way, but sorry. It was because I was talking about myself and I was going to like thrash myself. What I was going to say was I have never really played like someone so weirdly different than me. Like it's always...
Yes, you play exactly the same
I
person
just do
and
me.
everything.
And I write my lines in it in ways that I think I would say them. And then people are like, you're so natural in that. And I'm like...
It's because it was me. Because I wrote it and I said it and I edited it.
I set myself up for success.
I did it.
In that, yeah. And so I think it's been fun, even just directing, and that's usually what it's been with our friends as well. It's a lot of like playing to everybody's strengths, because I always find that an interesting, like, let's not go against the current. And when it's like, oh, you're funny in this way, let's lean into that, and that's what this character is, and then we're in control of the script, so let's write it for your sort of tone and all that, and then this has been a fun like, oh, that's right, so much of making movies and directing actors is like, let's find it, man.
Getting a different performance.
Yeah, let's find who is this girl, and so that's been fun.
Someone asked, what is Buffer? Buffer's a film festival in Canada every year.
Yeah.
That a lot of the shorts we've done recently have all gone to that. Sarah, there are only good curses in Spellbook, no bad curses.
Yeah.
All right, do a couple fast, quick answer ones,
Okay.
and then we'll wrap it up because we're at 30 minutes. Maybe we'll play the effect reel one more time.
Yeah, I could
Just put it at the end so that people could...
Yeah. Yeah, I will be playing the new Spider-Man game. That's the question I've elected to answer.
I might buy a Steam Deck just so that I could play both of them.
Oh, I didn't think about... Oh, but is the second one going to PC right away?
I guess I gotta get a PS5.
Yeah, I don't know about
Great.
that. I don't know.
I've never played the first one, so I'll do that when everyone's playing the second one.
I think you could probably just go straight. I mean, the first one's great. The story's great, but...
People are also asking about this. This is not a wizard robe. This is a bathrobe that Chris will be wearing in the short.
Yeah. And... Yeah, you'll see. Okay. Well...
Let's watch the effect
Let's
reel one more
watch
time and
the
then say
effect
goodbye.
reel.
I love watching it.
Here we go.
It makes me feel like we already did what we have to do.
I know.
Oh, look, the movie's done. We're gonna have to use so much less power than actually set. Get like 2 takes and we're vacuuming.
Yeah. Well, like that is not
crazy.
gonna happen. Yeah, that was a mistake.
You knew it was a mistake then.
I did. That one, that's the thing too of like where it hits, because it was a lot of like trying to aim and it was hitting your mouth, and Blink is gonna be so cool.
I thought it would be cool, and then once it was edited, I was like, it's even cooler than like just seeing it on the stick. Like he will be moving when the blanket grabs him.
Yes, that was what
For him just to not move.
That was what I learned from that footage, was like he has to still be moving at the end of it, because it's just silly when his legs are just still.
All right, great.
We've learned a lot. We're excited to do it. We start tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
And if you want to watch
If you want to watch us shoot it,
the $30 Indiegogo tier, you get a live stream of us Saturday through Monday. You get the archive of it if you donate later. You get a digital copy of every script version we've done. We're going to have all of the concept art and other little inspiration pieces. We're calling it a production booklet that I'm putting together of all the fun stuff that we've been shooting and looking at, and you'll get copies of all that footage that we just showed, not edited into a sizzle reel probably. But there's a lot. Go take a look at the Indiegogo page. We had set the goal at $10,000, and it was going to be a 3-day shoot. And it went so well, we said, let's do it in 4 days. So now we need $15,000, which we're getting close to, and hopefully we'll hit. But we've already planned to shoot the 4 days. So
yes. Also, I have been on the other side of it, and even we're in it and we're making it, and your brain goes like, how is it possible that it costs that much money? Like what happens? What are you spending money on that gets it up to that number? And it really truly does just come down to when it's 4 days, you have as many people as we have on it, everyone's doing us favors. Like everybody, we have people doing stuff that because they just want to be part of it, and we have people who are giving us incredible, the friend rate for their time. And even still, it just immediately, the second you add up that amount of days, it gets big, and it will cost exactly as much, and it will cost exactly that much, and then still require a little more out of pocket. That's just like
renting a house for 3 days is almost a third of the whole budget.
Yes, and that's part of the bite that we took on this, was like
no sacrifices,
and it being, we always shoot in someone's apartment, and we shoot in my apartment, we shoot in someone else's apartment, and I'm just like, just visually, aesthetically, when you look at, like, it's such a silly thing, but when you like scroll through the channel, or when you scroll through my website, and just all of them kind of being like, oh yeah, they all sort of look the same.
All
like
Dom's characters
always
talk the same, live in the same house, and have the same haircut. That's weird.
And it's truly, I mean, it is a resource thing. It is a financial element of it, that it's just the second, especially out here in LA where everybody's doing this. Everyone's doing it. So there's a market for it. You are gonna, it's less likely you're gonna get a favor of just like, hey, can we have your house for 4 days? You know, like, just people are like, no, because next week they're gonna shoot the Avengers here, you know. And you're like, oh right, okay, yeah, sorry.
Victor's asking if the VFX clip will be up at some point, and we're gonna upload it separately as well.
Yeah, I think
at least until the movie's out.
We'll upload it separately. I'll probably have it unlisted and maybe in as an update on the
Indiegogo
page.
But there will be a link that's shareable, and this will stay public for at least a couple days. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and we're gonna have fun.
We got to go buy a lot of props and set up a whole set today, and this was a great break from it all.
Yeah, thank you. You could tell we went longer than we wanted to, too, because we were like...
Yeah, like, how about more? We don't have to...
When I hit stop streaming, we're about to leave for hours and be
exhausted.
sweaty.
We're going to get really mad at each other today, I think.
For sure. We're gonna fight about something.
All right, thank you.
Cinema.
Watch Loki Season 2 on Disney+.
Hold on, wait, what are you doing? Goodbye.